Welcome to this time of reflection. Today's Holy Saturday. The one congregation that I've been part of that offered something on this Holy Saturday was when we invited people to gather in the sanctuary for a time of prayer. We can't do that this year, but today, Holy Saturday, we're invited to take time for meditation, for contemplation, for prayer, as we are present in this in-between time, a day that you could say is suspended between two worlds, death and resurrection. In the Anglican prayer book, they say this about Holy Saturday. This is a non-day, a time of silent waiting, hardly daring to breathe. There's a tradition which says that between the observance of the Lord's burial and the kindling of the new fire that marks the start of Easter, the Church remains silent too. Someone has said that Holy Saturday is the silence between notes. As when a loved one dies, it's better to sit in silence than to say too much. Today is a day to picture ourselves beside the tomb of someone we love. My mom and dad are buried under a shade tree in the cemetery at Gananoque. I can imagine being there, sitting in silence, remembering. Today we give voice and sit in silence with the world's sadness. People are dying, people are grieving the death of a loved one. The whole world is living through a pandemic where death is daily in the news. Grief, a time of grief and loss. We're unsure what the future will be. Today, Holy Saturday, all of us, all the people of the world, find ourselves suspended between two worlds, death and resurrection. I put on our St. George United Church Facebook page this week an article by Ian Mackenzie entitled, "The 6 Days the Earth Stood Still." I found it very profound, and I wanted to share with you his words. The world in this pandemic is living in a liminal space between stories, where the existing narrative no longer holds sway, and new possibilities have the chance to take root. This is a wake-up call. We're being granted a great moment of reflection as a species. How might we use this great slowdown to alter the course of civilization and come back into relationship with all life? What if the virus is the medicine? Imagine what happens when an entire society finds itself in the midst of a critical initiation. It looks like chaos, a meltdown. He says, there is opportunity here if we claim it. And he goes on to say, I believe we're in a deeply liminal time. The old rules and stories that governed our lives are in disarray. There are a number of possible futures that could become our destiny. What is vital is that each of us hold to the frequency to trust that the more beautiful world is not only possible, but it is longing to arrive. We can rewrite the rules of the economy in service to the sacred. Each moment is a fundamental choice point that brings it closer to reality, strengthening the courage of humanity and coming back into kinship with all of creation. He ends by saying, so let us awaken. We may not get this opportunity again. And I like poetry, and I'm closing with a poem written by John O'Donohue. And the poem is called Blessings for the Interim Time, and it's from his book, To Bless the Space Between Us. And he says these things. When the end of day, life has drained out of light, and it is too soon for the mind of night to have darkened things. No place looks like itself. Loss of outline makes everything look strangely in between, unsure of what has been or what might come. In this waning light, even trees seem groundless. In a while it will be night, but nothing there seems to believe the relief of darkness. You are in this time of the interim, where everything seems withheld. The path you took to get here is washed out. The way forward is still concealed from you. The old is not old enough to have died away. The new is still too young to be born. You cannot lay claim to anything in this place of dusk. Your eyes are blurred, and there is no mirror. Everyone else has lost sight of your heart, and you can see nowhere to put your trust. You know you have to make your own way through. As far as you can, hold your confidence. Do not allow confusion to squander this call, which is loosening your roots in false ground, that you may come free from all you have outgrown. What is being transfigured here is your mind, and it is difficult and slow to become new. The more faithfully you can endure here, the more refined your heart will become for your arrival in the new dawn. See you tomorrow, Easter morning, bright and early at 6 a.m. It'll still be dark. God bless.